Andrew Porter. Is the pace car still on? Is the pace car still running around? It's gone. So who were the onboard tonight? Super trucks.
Yeah, I think race one showed a little bit of gamesmanship, but it certainly made for good watching. But he's got a bit of a problem with the likes of this man on board now, Troy Wheeler. A bit further up the grid, and same with Ron Salter due to this reverse grid race.
So it's Salter, the four-time New Zealand champion, one-time Australian Super Truck champion, that will lead them over the top of the hill here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. 8 laps. The big question, can Andrew Porter make his way through the smoke and make his way through this field to get from the back to the front? Away we go. Troy Wheeler wants to argue the tops with Salter. It's Scania on Scania. Wheeler's got the better run as they head down into one. So Troy Wheeler out of Hunua, just south of Auckland, leads it in the TWC Scania. Then it's Salter through in second place. A great start from Colin Hooper to bring the Mac up into third. You're on board with a man on the back of the pack, and already he's starting to go through him. Tony Broad looks like to be his first victim, and Malcolm Little, another one that had qualifying issues, is just lingering in the back for the moment. You see there, just pulls out, gets a little bit more air on the front grille of these massive, massive super trucks.
Well, it's one thing about passing the field. It's the other thing about seeing where you're going, isn't it? It's like racing in the rain.
It really is. Plenty of carbon footprint out there here at Pukekohe Park Raceway, but already Porter's made his way through this field.
He's having a bit of a bad run. He's banging wheels at the back there.
Yeah, he's got a tiger on his tail there, and Calvin Bonney, the cowboy, as well.
Gets into the back of Salter and says, get out of it, mate.
Well,
Look
Ron
at this.
Salter had all sorts of problems. You're riding in the best seat in the house here on board with Andrew Porter as he passes Ron Salter. Malcolm Little trying to get around the outside of Calvin Bonney. Well, they say Rubbin's racing, and it certainly is in these monsters. Porter's done an amazing job in one lap. Over the hill they come. Troy Wheeler still leads it. But look at this, Andrew Porter, the 3-time champion, already up into second place. What a phenomenal drive.
I don't know where he made his time up, and I got a little bit confused at the hairpin. It must have been Ken Rowe, as we're on board with Little.
Wheeler gets a little bit sideways out of the S's, and that's the... and Malcolm Little, just a bit of a pinch of the brakes as well. Salter in the mix too. Calvin Bonney, great to see these old names from New Zealand truck racing back here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. Wheeler, one of the movers and shakers of, I guess, the incarnation of super truck racing in New Zealand. Malcolm Little's got it on the grass. He thinks it's a mass sport, not a freightliner.
No respect for the racetrack, these guys. Plenty for each other, but none for the racetrack.
You're looking out the back of Malcolm Little's Freightliner, having a good beady look at Calvin Bonney. There's a bit of a traffic jam heading up here behind Colin Hooper.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Here's Rowe up the inside, coming up the inside of Bonney. Looks like he'll get the job done. If we can see them.
Oh, at the hairpin, we're just engulfed in a whole lot of black diesel smoke at the moment, and that's one of the highlights, if you like, of super truck racing. You're back on board here with Troy Wheeler. Have a look at the way the rear end's jumping around.
These guys had a problem race one with their power steering unit, or a lack of it. So appear to have got that sorted so far, but it was only in the last lap that Wheeler struck problems.
Now remember that these things are governed to 160 kilometres an hour. When they get up to 160, Malcolm Little tells me it's like hauling on the handbrake. They really come to a halt acceleration-wise. I just wonder what the drafting benefit is in a massive truck like this. Shane, you've raced in all sorts of aerodynamic vehicles from Trans Ams to New Zealand V8. Is there any advantage here in the drafting? Because Porter couldn't be any closer.
I don't know, mate. You're out of my experience bracket there. It's the rear mudguard flapping around. I think it's that's just probably normal vibrato. It does actually look very loose.
Looks like he might have a problem there. Well, they concentrated on the power steering. That's what stopped him in race number 1.
There goes Porter. He's looking for a way past. He might assist that. Look at that. Get rid of that guard for him.
Talk about precision racing and something that weighs about 5 or 6 tonnes. That's not bad, is it?
I mean, this is sort of a demonstration, so to speak, 10 years later, Phil, but I think these guys have still got that competitive edge still in them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Andrew Porter, I talked to him before race 1 yesterday, and he said, oh, look, it's just like old home week, just jumping into the seat again. It just feels so good. Wheeler's got a problem with that mudguard, hasn't he? Is it going to last the distance? That's the next thing. We're only half distance, not even that at the moment here at Pukekohe Park Raceway. And Troy Wheeler, he's got a tiger on his tail. And look at the mudguard. It's just hanging off the Scania now.
It looks like it's still attached. It's just maybe a bit loose. But if I was Porter, I'd probably give that some assistance. Yeah, well, he got close at the hairpin last time.
I don't think you need telling twice to tell you the truth. Here we go. You're on board here with Troy Wheeler. That's Andrew Porter, the 3-time champion behind him. A son of one of the legends of truck racing in Robin Porter. Here's the drag race. It's Scania on Kenworth.
Let's see if they have a look at each other, eh? Give each other an eyeball. Porter's run out of steam. He's hit the limiter quicker.
Yeah, and then it becomes static, doesn't it? Then it's who goes to the brakes first as they come to the hairpin. Remember, they don't do the BNTSs here for the super trucks. They just straight through it.
Here he goes. He's awfully close.
He couldn't be any closer. The bottom of those things are long.
Hankook hairpin. Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff. And here's the acceleration of Porter's mobile Delvic Porter hire truck.
I'll tell you what, you've got to say that Troy Wheeler's doing an amazing job to keep him out, because I'm pretty sure the Kenworth the Porter who we ride with here has just got the edge in the horsepower stakes.
Yeah, it's certainly a quick truck, and he gets a good run over the hill, but he can't do anything about it now. So head down into Fook's corner through the puddle there on the right, just to make the truck a bit slipperier. And then we go back to Little, Hooper, Rowe and Bonnie.
In it for the miners either, but look at this, you couldn't get any closer. I said to someone yesterday in a bit of a joke, I think you could throw your 10 mil and your 12 mil spanners out when you're working on these things, but the precision of these guys is incredible.
Here's the guard is actually
it's working in his favour. It's making the Scania wider.
Look, it's actually on some see, it's run off the pipe.
Yeah, it's run off the bracket.
It's run off the bracket, so it's only got about another couple of inches to go before it's actually going to fall off. I don't know whether the marshals.
Actually, that's a thought. I wonder if the officials will be watching this. We could see a black flag here for Troy Wheeler. Maybe he doesn't realise that his truck has suddenly grown in dimension width-wise. That's why he's so close to Andrew Porter. Porter's trying everything. Has he got a run this time? Yes, he has.
He's going to go around the outside. Nice move.
Well, you don't become a 3-time champion in New Zealand in any class for nothing. He's got all the skills, has Andrew Porter. Plenty of suspension travel on the big Kenworth as they head up over the hill once again. Porter in the front.
There goes the guard. She's got, it's still
hanging off. Well, now the officials are really going to look at it, aren't they? Because if that flies off into the face of Malcolm Little in third, we're going to have a problem. So you're back on board here with Troy Wheeler. Troy Wheeler Construction Scania sitting in second place with bits falling off the Scania. Porter in the front, though. We saw this in race 1, didn't we, Shane? Once he gets clear air, he just seems to check out. He just gets away from them.
Listen to it, it's great, that picture, looking back on the truck, seeing all that suspension and the diff moving around, just fantastic.
Well, they waited 10 years to bring the super trucks back to Pukekohe Park Raceway, but I tell you what, the big crowd here will be absolutely loving this. There's Malcolm Little out of Masterton in third place. There's a real good drag race going on between the veterans, Colin Hooper in the Mac and Ken Rowe in the Eagle Spears Kenworth. That's the truck that Robin Porter, Andrew's father, made famous with his 3 national titles.
Here's the boys into the Hankook hairpin. Wheeler second, Porter up ahead of him.
The other thing, I guess, Shane, is that Troy Wheeler won't know that that guard's come loose. He won't have an idea of what's going on. I'm sure he wouldn't be able to see that in his mirrors, and neither would he care, probably.
No, that's probably more to the point. And the flaggies tend to vacate the circuit in these races.
They're standing way back. Don't we worry about that.
No, they don't stay in their regular flag marshalling positions due to the danger of these big beasts.
So looking out the front window here of Troy Wheeler, and now looking at the man at work.
I'll tell you what, for a big truck, they still get thrown around a bit, don't they, around this very, very busy, bumpy Pukekohe circuit.
Oh, there goes the guard, so that's come off, so that's one problem out of the way. Ron Salter's back in the pits. He had real drama in qualifying with a massive fire in the ex-Denny Holmes Scania.
He's been in there for a while. He's got his helmet off there, obviously.
Yeah, it hasn't been the dream debut for the four-time champion. That truck now owned by Les Plesner, a regular visitor to New Zealand Super Truck Racing. Race leader, though, heads into the Hankook hairpin once again. Andrew Porter in the modern Kenworth, three-time champion. Troy Wheeler holding on bravely for second. Malcolm Little is getting closer, but I just think he's going to run out of some laps here.
Well, Wheeler doesn't have to worry about the officials as Andrew Porter brings the Porter Kenworth over the hill. Puts another lap to his name. Last lap now. Here comes Wheeler. Little still lurking in the background. He picked up that spot yesterday when Wheeler's truck expired on the last lap.
That's right, I'm not sure that that's going to happen this time round. I talked to Malcolm and I said, is it too early to think about championships? He said, oh, definitely. And he was a man that would know. He's got three to his name. This man's got three to his name as well, as he heads down the back straight for the last time. The camera lens foreshortens it, but Troy Wheeler is a safe second. You're on board here with Andrew Porter. Driven a lot of things in his time, from the New Zealand V8s to the Super Trucks. I said, what's your favourite? He said, oh, it's got to be these things. It's got to be the Super Trucks.
Oh, I think they've got to be fun. It's a little bit different to the I mean, I know all sports are competitive, but when you're sitting there and you can't go any faster because you're limited to 160 kilometres an hour, it must be quite unusual.
Yeah, I guess that's something you've got to get your head around. You're on board with the race leader. Heads down past the pit entrance here, heading up to the Sound Hill. This is Andrew Porter, the Hydrolink, Porter High Kenworth.
Big crowd of people here today to see this man bring the Porter Group. He's going to take the win in a very exciting early part of the race, but shows us a clean set of heels.
So it is Porter who makes it 2 for 2. He won race number 1 off the front. He's won race 2 from the back of the grid. In second place it will be Troy Wheeler, bravely hanging on with the mudguard falling off the truck as we look into the face of the victor here at Pukekohe Park Raceway of the New Zealand Super Truck Championships, round 1, race 2 winner. Yeah, but I mean, you can't be in every once,
yeah, but there was a bloody good battle at the front too, Nigel.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. No, no worries, it's all good. Race 2 for the New Zealand Super Truck sees Andrew Porter taking the win from the back of the field to the front, with Troy Wheeler in second place. Malcolm Little, the three-time champion, is third, and Ken Rowe is fourth. Colin Hooper comes in fifth place, and in sixth it's the cowboy Calvin Bonney. Seventh is Tony Broad. Brent Jones is eighth, and in ninth place Ron Salter.